So today I'm with Andy Smith of Atlantic Pumps. So welcome Andy, thanks for joining us.
No problem, thank you.
Tell us a bit more about Atlantic and what you do and the sort of markets you serve.
Yeah, good. Well, we sell pumps for applications that have got slurries and abrasive fluids. We work in 4 key markets. We've got the quarrying and mining market, which is where we started. It's the background to Atlantic. And then over the years, we've developed into other key heavy industries, steel industry, big processing, food processing, but on a big scale where you're washing beets and things like that. And then in the last 3 or 4 years, we've gone into the AD, the biomass market, the energy from waste industry. And then the most recent area we're specialising in is the water industry, the big water companies.
Interesting. So in those core markets, what sort of changes have you seen over the last year or two in the market?
Well, I guess over the period of time I've been involved, there's been a progression of just seeing more and more, it's become more and more important that there's no downtime. So that's really how Atlantic was formed, was a belief that customers were due a better experience. These people that work it's a very high pressure, all these industries are high pressure. So the guys working in there, it's critical that their process continues. If it stops, it either has huge financial implications or increasingly it has just practical implications. These are all critical industries. Without these industries, our life doesn't continue to operate. Take the water industry as a key example. You've seen in the news, it's increasingly important that there is no interference, no interruption to the service they provide. If you get a sewage spill, it's likely because there's something wrong with their process. It may have been overwhelmed, but it's probably a process. So I guess over a number of years, we've seen the pressure increase in all these industries. Our lives have become busier. There's more and more financial pressure on people. And probably one of the biggest changes you see is that all these sites have got less and less engineers. So there is less and less resource to deal with a problem. So from Atlantic's perspective, it's become increasingly important that we make their lives easier. These people come to work and they have more and more pressure to deal with. The last thing they need is a pump going down on them.
Very interesting. So tying into that then, in your product development, where has that been? Is there been any products you've brought to the market over the last 12, 24 months that ties into that?
Well, on the pump side, the product development would largely go into increasing wear life. So there's advances in materials, new materials for impellers, new wear materials, which is important. That reduces downtime. It means that you don't have to be replacing worn spares all the time. The main drive actually in our product development over the last 2 to 3 years, though, has been in new technologies. We've done a lot of work in EnviroHub, which is our range of water treatment, monitoring and polishing of water for site discharge. It's obviously another very important area where there's a lot of investment going in, a lot of interest from the public in the quality of our water. So industrial sites, they all have discharge permits and they need to be able to monitor accurately and treat their site discharge. So EnviroHub does that. Where we've particularly put a lot of investment is in the monitoring side. We have a product which enables people to monitor continuously. Historically, you would have gone out and done sample monitoring. Continuous monitoring is much, much better. And it also does it all cloud-based, which means that from a management and leadership perspective in these organisations, they get clarity of what's happening all the time at the click of their fingers, in essence, instead of having to send people out into difficult spots on site. These aren't the easiest places to access often. They might be big industrial sites, and the EnviroHub product monitors continuously for them very cost effectively. And then we also have put a lot of effort into the products that treat that water as well.
Very interesting. So I saw online you recently released the HL150. So could you talk to us about that product, what that does specifically?
Yeah, so in essence, we've a staple of our our product would be the HL50, which is a lamellar solution which polishes water, settles solids out. The 150 is because that's been driven by customer demand. We're getting into sites with larger flows, and in essence the 150 just does 3 times the amount in one unit. So yeah, it's a very exciting product for us to be launching to the market. As this site discharge issue is becoming more of a problem for people to resolve, the flow rates are only going to go up. You know, it's one of those things. There always seems to be more rain. There always seems to be more site discharge. So.
Very interesting. So the other product I wanted to ask you about is the LSM pump range. Obviously, you've been seeing some of the successes of that. Can you talk to us about that product and the benefits of that?
Yeah. So the LSM is a peristaltic pump. It's not a new technology. Peristaltic pumps have been around for many years. The LSM is particularly good. It comes in larger sizes than you would have normally associated with a peristaltic pump. Runs up to the 200, there's even a 300. But we would be focusing on the 100 and the 150, which is the size of the discharge, in essence, the size of pump discharge. They're a fantastic technologies. It's very simple. So coming back to what I was saying about sites not having a lot of manpower, not having a lot of resource, you can change the wear spares on these in a matter of half an hour. They're so simple, yet they're also very effective. Where we're seeing it really playing, it fits right in what we do in terms of sludge handling, because they're designed for this sort of thing. If you wanted a specific of where you might see that saving clients a significant amount of money, for example, it would be that, so in the water companies, sludge handling is an increasing problem. In a wastewater environment, they're just getting more and more and more sludge to deal with. That's part of our modern life. And the only solution many of these sites would have for that at the moment is to tanker it away. And these pumps being able to handle considerably higher solids content means that you can put much more solids, you can thicken the sludge on site and put it much more effectively into a tanker. So I know I'm getting very detailed here, but from an environmental and cost perspective, if you can transport sludge which is 4 times more solid content, that's a quarter of the cost and a quarter of the environmental impact. So one LSM can transform a site's operations with those parameters, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds a very effective product. And so you say the water industry is one of those people that are really benefiting from that. Is there anyone else that is using those products as well, or is it
just
absolutely
water? No, I've just gone into a very specific application there, but you would find in the energy from waste sector, the LSM pumps are transforming the way that they use, they feed the feedstock applications, because once again, historical pumps used in this market would wear very quickly. The LSM pump has transformed wear life, some instances from 4 weeks to a year, which again, from an operator perspective, is a game changer, changes their lives, let alone the cost effectiveness of this.
Absolutely. That sounds a brilliant product. So you mentioned earlier about quarries and mines. It's a core market for you. So Hillhead 2024 was not many months ago. I saw you were exhibiting there. Talk to us about that. Was that a helpful show for you?
Brilliant, yeah. I mean, Hillhead is an institution. Anyone in the industry would know. It's people go there. It's every couple of years, and people go there because it's a great atmosphere. It's a great show. It really puts you in touch with the quarrying industry, particularly in this country, and people come from far and wide for it. This year was particularly good. The weather makes a huge difference at Hillhead. It's up there in Derbyshire on a hilltop, and it's very exposed. Sometimes the great British weather lets us down, but this year the weather was great. So it was almost like a holiday destination. It was also very busy. Very, very busy show. They're continuing to invest in it, and it was interesting to see some of the big operators back there. I think after COVID, some of the big names in industry said they weren't going to do these shows anymore. They were all back there this time. I think it demonstrates that there is a place for physically getting together and demonstrating products. So yeah, it was a great show for us. We hope the organisation that runs it will continue to invest in it, because certainly car parking and access is an important part of the efficient running of the show. But, yeah, we really enjoyed it.
Fantastic. It's good to hear. One other thing I heard about is that you recently acquired a company. Can you tell us more about that and what they do?
Yeah, so November last year we acquired Perol Machinery. It's a company with 50 years heritage in the materials handling market, in essence. Where we see that fitting with us is Atlantic has done wet handling, in essence, so handling of slurries and sludges and things. What Perol does is the dry side, so they're able to handle dry materials, and we want to bring all the benefits that Atlantic has brought to customers over the years. We want to bring that to the same customer base, but for their dry handling. So industrial sites that have historically dealt with us and experienced our customer service levels for pumps, for sludges, for abrasive fluids, will now be able to access dry material, silos, screws, augers, load weighing solutions, so things that are more associated with dry materials and powders.
Very interesting. Good to hear the continued success. I also saw you'd worked with a company called Mindgear recently to make was it a custom piece of equipment, or you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it was a mine dewatering skid that we did for them. Mindgear are a UK-based company, engineering company, doing mine solutions. They would have a wide range of solutions they offer to mines all around the globe. This particular product went out to Bosnia. But yeah, that's a classic example of where an engineering company can come to us with a concept, and we can design and deliver a product for them as a package. It was able to resolve the client's requirements. As something we very much are investing in is the in-house engineering and design capabilities to be able to solve a customer's problem from start to finish, in essence.
Fantastic. That's brings me on to another question I had about your future R&D or product development. Where's that going over the next, is there anything you can talk about in the next 12 to 24 months on that side?
Yeah, well, there is more and more controls, I would say. Being able to look after or to deliver a solution, a package solution. What we're finding customers are asking for is where 10 years ago they might have come to you for a pump. 5 years ago they might have come to you and said, I need a pump and a pontoon and some pipework and a cable. Now these clients would be coming to us and saying, I've got a problem on site, can you deliver me the end-to-end solution for this? They want to place one package, and a large part of that is electronic controls. So people are now expecting, in your private life, in your life at home, you've got used to being able to control your heating. You have apps on your phone. You've got sight and control of everything, haven't you? People expect that now with their pump packages. So a lot of our R&D over the next few years we see being in this control of the whole process, from dewatering to discharge. People being able to remotely monitor and control the pump and what it does.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Been good to be with you. Thank you very much for what you've shared with us today.
Very good. Thank you.